Once you've finished creating the 3 parts of the snowman, you're ready to start assembling your snowman. To create your assembly, you're going to go to New, and we're going to choose a standard IAM file. Once your assembly loads, the first thing that you need to do is insert your snowman's body into the workspace. To insert one of your parts into the workspace, go to Place, and then you'll choose your snowman's body from your menu to add it in. Remember, you left click to place it into the view, then right click and hit OK. Takes out of your menu. Now the first piece of the body you want to ground so that it can't move. To ground it, I right click on the body and select grounded. You should see a little pin once it's locked into place. Now we're going to start by connecting the hat to the body. So I'm going to insert the hat in next. The hat, though, I'm not going to ground, so I want to be able to move this around. Now the hard part about connecting the hat to the snowman's body is that it's hard to connect things to round pieces. To start off, I'm actually going to try and line up the center of my hat with the center of the snowman's body. Now, in order to do this, we need to basically display a line that's going to run through the center of the snowman. Now, this line already exists, you just have to turn it on so you can see it. Okay, so to turn that line on, it's called an axis. You will go into your browser and expand the folder with your snowman's body, and then expand the origin folder. If you hover over the different axes, you can see the different directions that they go in, and we want the one that is vertical. In my case, it's Y, so I'll right click and check visibility. Now I have a line that runs down the center of my snowman. Now, in order to connect the center of my snowman with the center of the hat, I'll go to my constrain menu, and I'm actually going to use the make command. This is the one that's already set. We use this with the puzzle cube. And you'll click on the center axis of the snowman. And if you actually hover over the center of your hat on that cylinder part, you'll see that an axis is there as well. I'll click on that one. And notice now how it's lined up the center of each piece. I'll hit apply. Now right now, I can still slide my hat up and down, but it's in line with the snowman. So the next step is to get it so that the hat sits exactly on the top of the snowman's head. Now I no longer need that center line, so I'm going to turn off the visibility by right-clicking on the y-axis and unchecking visibility. Next up, we want to connect the bottom of the hat with the top of the head, and in order to that, I'm going to have to use a plane. Now you need to find a plane in your origin folder that is horizontal. So in this case, that's the XZ plane, and I'll right-click on that and select visibility in order for that to show up. Now, right now, my plane is at the bottom instead of the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a second plane that's in line with the first one. In order to add that plane, I'm going to click on the plane that already exists at the bottom, and then I'm going to spin my view a little bit and click on the snowman's head, and see how it's going to add that plane right at the top there. That's what you want. Once you have your work plane on the top of the snowman's head, we're ready to connect the bottom of the hat with the top of the snowman. And I'm going to use the constrain menu again, and I'll use mate. I'm going to mate the top of this plane with the bottom of the snowman's hat. Make sure you click the whole bottom of the hat and not just that center green point. Now notice it slid down my hat so that it is sitting on top of the head. Hit apply to save that. Now I don't need these planes anymore. I'm not going to delete them in case I need them later, but I'm just going to hide them. So I'll right click and uncheck visibility on each one of those to hide them. Now we're ready to add the snowman's nose into place. So I'll place the nose into my view, just like I did my other pieces. Now, if you notice in my snowman's nose, I forgot to turn off the visibility of the work plane before. The nice thing is you don't have to go back to the part file. You can fix it right here by going to the browser if you did the same thing. Okay. Now that we're ready to start with our snowman's nose, we're actually going to do it very similar how we did the hat, where we're going to put a plane on the front of our snowman's face, and then we're going to mate the front of the face with the back of the nose. So I need to find a plane in the direction that I want my nose to touch. In this case, mine will be XY. So I'll right click and turn the visibility on, and then I'm going to add another work plane, because this work plane is in the middle, on the front of the face. And again, that work plane is tangent to surface and parallel to plane. So I'll click on my parallel plane, which is this one, and then I will click on my snowman's head, and that adds a plane on the front of the snowman. And this plane, this new one, is the flat surface that I want to mate my nose to. Okay, so I'm going to use the constrain menu, and again, using mate the front of the work plane with the back of the nose. Make sure when you are selecting your nose, again, you get the entire back, not just the point. I'll hit apply. Notice now my nose is in line with the front of the snowman. I can still slide it around, but it's closer than it was before. I'm going to add one more constraint to my nose. This is a new constraint called tangent. Tangent is the third option under that assembly menu. And I'll be clicking on the snowman's head, and then spinning around and getting the back of the nose again, since it's a little bit tricky to get the right view. Sorry, my computer's a little bit more of a lag. And then hit apply. Now you're going to notice this time it doesn't slide the nose exactly where we want it, but what it does is it limits where it can move a little bit. We are not going to constrain the nose perfectly into place. It will still have some movement, but you can go to your front view and drag it around where you want it. Mine's actually pretty centered. And so from the side again, there's our snowman. You will probably want to go back and hide the work planes. Remember, you just go into your browser and right click and uncheck visibility. The work planes that are currently turned on are the ones that have an orange in their icon. Once your work planes are hidden, your snowman's complete. Feel free to change any of the colors of any of the pieces, or add other accessories like eyes or buttons, stick arms, whatever you want to make your snowman more unique.